Warning, this video contains me saying a lot of foreign names badly. You have been warned. Also, this has a lot of mature themes and discussions of harassments and incest and not very nice things like that. So if you don't want to be inflicted with that, then click off this video now. Oldboy is a 2003 South Korean psychological thriller film directed by Park Chan-wook and based on the Japanese manga series of the same name written by Garon Chusia and illustrated by Nobaki Mingishi. The film follows Odesu, who is kidnapped and held prisoner in a small room for 15 years without ever knowing the identity of his captor or motives behind his imprisonment. Upon his unexpected release, Dae-soo begins a violent quest to find the truth and take vengeance on those responsible. Oldboy garnered critical acclaim for its unique blend of artistic cinematography, neo-noir atmosphere, shocking violence and taboo themes. Lauded for its visual flair and bold reinvention of the revenge thriller genre, it solidified Park Chan-wook's reputation as an innovative Korean artist. The film won the prestigious Grand Prix at the 2004 Cannes Film Festival and helped drive the surge of Korean cinema onto the global stage in the 2000s. Oldboy remains impactful for its gripping but disturbing story that lays humanity's darkest impulses bare. Oldboy opens up with a drunk Dae-soo being arrested after starting a fight and being taken into a police station. This initial scene establishes his self-destructive tendencies and hot temper. The night of revelry and violence provides contrast to Dae-soo's soon-to-follow 15-year imprisonment. After Dae-soo fails to get in contact with his daughter on her birthday, he is suddenly kidnapped on the streets and held in a makeshift prison cell for the next 15 years. His jail consists only of a basic room containing a bed, shower, and television. Dae-soo's only contact with the outside world is the news and sitcoms on TV. Park Chan-wook uses tight framing and claustrophobic scenes to viscerally convey Dae-soo's extreme isolation. The prison scenes have an anxious, pressurized feel heightened by the ambient buzzing on the soundtrack. We see Dae-soo alone in his room performing exercises, shadowboxing or curling into a fetal position on the floor amidst the deafening silence. He violently lashes out, punching the walls until his fists are bloody. Park accentuates the passage of time through showing the TV on real-world events such as Princess Diana's death. These stylized scenes examine how such total isolation would distort a person's psychology. After 15 years, Dae-soo finds himself unexpectedly released on a rooftop, dressed in a suit with some money and a cell phone. He gazes out in wonder at the cityscape and new technology like the internet that develops while he was imprisoned. But when Dae-soo tries to call his family, he learns devastating news. His wife has been murdered and his daughter has been adopted overseas. With nothing left for his past life, he dedicates himself to uncovering the reason for his imprisonment and getting revenge. This shocking transition from his cell to freedom in an unfamiliar world sets the revenge thriller plot into motion. Penniless and unstable after his trauma, Dae-soo gets help from Mido, a young sushi chef who takes pity on him. Mido becomes his ally in tracking down clues and ultimately they have a romantic relationship. Dae-soo's first key lead is tracking down this restaurant his captors had food delivered from. Park Chan-wook shoots these scenes with a gritty, realistic handheld camera style to give a tense, investigative feel. The revelation that Dae-soo's own schoolmate, Lee Woo-jin, was behind the plot adds an extra layer of mystery. Dae-soo uncovers photos implying Woo-jin's sister killed herself out of shame after Dae-soo spread rumours about her in school. This suggestive backstory provides Woo-jin's possible motive, but leaves gaps to be filled in. Dae-soo's revelations come through interpretations of ambiguous clues rather than clear explanations. Park purposely denies easy answers to make the truth more inscrutable. In one of Oldboy's most iconic scenes, Dae-soo fights his way down a hallway. This scene unfolds in a continuous 3-minute long take with the camera following Dae-soo laterally down the corridor as he single-handedly demolishes a group of thugs. The technical virtuosity required to choreograph such an ambitious long take shot builds visceral excitement. Dae-soo uses just a hammer to inflict devastating blows on the gang in hyper-violent, uncomfortable yet thrilling action. The scene cements Dae-soo as a relentless, almost superhuman avenging force. Having collected enough fragments of information, Dae-soo identifies Woo-jin's apartment building and fights through all his heavily armed henchmen to reach him. Their climactic confrontation finally fills in the remaining pieces of the elaborate revenge plot. Woo-jin's penthouse apartment, filled with clean lines and modern art, provides visual contrast to Dae-soo's grubby, remained pursuit of the truth. In their tense exchanges, Woo-jin explains how he has orchestrated Dae-soo's downfall for the entirety of 15 years. He not only imprisoned Dae-soo, but then manipulated his behaviour after release through hypnosis and hallucinogens. Woo-jin further explains that he has one final devastation to inflict on Dae-soo, that Dae-soo had had sex with his own daughter and nearly married her. Hence, Woo-jin utterly destroyed Dae-soo's life from the start to finish out of vengeance for his sister. Park frames the conversation between them like cerebral chess players, underscored by the positioning of Woo-jin above Dae-soo on a higher level of the penthouse. The final twist delivers the film's most shocking and transgressive revelation, cementing Woo-jin's revenge. In the bloody confrontation's aftermath, a broken Dae-soo begs Woo-jin to take his vengeance even further. As penance for the incest, Dae-soo horrifically slices out his own tongue with scissors. He is left a defeated shell of a man. Woo-jin shoots himself to complete his own elaborate suicide plan. Dae-soo finds Mi-do bloodied from the fight, but they embrace in the snow, the lyrical music conveying glimmers of hope. However, the ending remains overall dark and tragic. Dae-soo ultimately cannot escape the horrific things done to him and finds any kind of justice or redemption futile. Park Chan-wook crafted an ending that provides catharsis for neither the protagonist or antagonist. Woo-jin may succeed in destroying Dae-soo, but kills himself, while Dae-soo is irreversibly damaged and alone despite getting revenge. The conclusion vividly communicates the lasting scars of violence and the emptiness of an eye for an eye. Dae-soo and Woo-jin are like two prisoners inescapable of escaping the bars of their obsession. Park captures the nihilistic message that revenge only begets more suffering rather than closure. The visual craftsmanship in Oldboy stands as one of the most acclaimed features. Park Chan-wook's cinematography choices amplify the distorted atmosphere and the psychology of the story through deliberate colour, framing and movement. He frequently uses wide-angle lenses for intentional distortion. Deep focus, extended takes and smooth tracking shots contrast with rapid editing in action scenes. The image maintains a dark greenish-yellow palette with grimy textures to create an unsettling neo-noir aesthetic. Creative transitions like swiping screens, zooms and montages help, seamlessly blending past and present. The technical mastery favours style and visual impact over raw realism. The claustrophobic production design of Dae-soo's prison cell makes the viewer feel trapped within its miserable confines. After release, the urban environments like alleys, tunnels and rooftops mirror the main character's continued mental imprisonment. Park also repeats visual motifs like the ant crawling across Dae-soo's skin or the drawings of a monster to symbolise the fear and corruption festering inside ordinary people. Double exposures on characters' faces allude to their split psyches. The haunting piano-based score, composed by Yeon-wook Jo, enhances the melancholic tragedy. This profound technical skill in cinematography, editing, sound production, design, and effects creates a visceral, sensational experience that elevates the pulpy revenge narrative. At the battered heart of Oldboy is Choi Min-sik's central performance as Oh Dae-soo. Min-sik conveys the harrowing emotional journey of a man pushed to the deepest depths of despair and insanity, then ruthlessly stripped of his identity. The raw physicality and animalistic fury in his portrayal generate intense sympathy for the wronged protagonist. Even as Dae-soo commits horrific acts of violence, the audience understands the pain that fuels him. Brief, gentler moments with Mi-do reveal his buried humanity. Min-sik's acting within confined spaces amplifies the claustrophobic anguish, yet he maintains a pathetic, ironic sense of humour that keeps the character from being utterly bleak. His final monologue is an emotional tour de force. Yu Ji-tae similarly gives penetrating insight into the cold, calculating antagonist Woo Jin. His restrained but palpable fury and cruelty toward Dae-soo make him an unsettling, enigmatic villain. Woo Jin remains chillingly focused on his intellectual mission of revenge even after years passed. The film provides glimpses of his trauma that set him on this path, but his conviction in destroying Dae-soo becomes understandable once his past sorrows are not. Once his past sorrows are known. Sorry, I'm really sick right now. Ji-tae's performance generates parallels between the two men's all-consuming pain as warped them. Kang Hee-jung brings emotional grounding to the film as Mi-do, Dae-soo's lover. Though initially a plot device, her compassionate spirit and fidelity to Dae-soo's through suffering reveal her as the story's moral centre. Their tender relationship offers respites of light, punctuating the darkness. But Mi-do is also ultimately a victim of the cyclical violence, representing collateral damage. The limited but vital female characters in the male-centred neo-noir's tale still convey a sense of lost family connection and redemption amidst the madness. Oldboy refashioned the revenge thriller to speak more profoundly at the state of Korean society in the early 2000s. After decades of military dictatorship and oppression, the country's democratic reforms initially led to greater freedoms and economic prosperity. However, this progress paradoxically weakened social ties and amplified competition, inequality, alienation, and corruption. These destabilizing forces lurk beneath Oldboy's story of revenge and betrayal. The film captures an atmosphere of latent social and moral decay in Korea's newly capitalist and democratic society. Park Chan-wook casts Dae-soo as an anti-hero, unable to cope with the rapid modern changes around him after being locked away for 15 years. His violent quest for vengeance represents something primal unleashed when social contracts fray. The themes connect to a nostalgia for an imagined simpler past before Korea's convulsive social evolution. Yet the film offers no real solutions, only nihilism about human nature and when institutions and ethics fail. Oldboy thereby reflects Korean anxieties about national identity and social breakdown at the turn of the millennium. The prominent Christian imagery and the concepts of punishment also align with Korea's heavily Christian population. These cultural undercuts enrich the film's impact domestically and abroad. Oldboy owes a huge, obvious debt to film noir traditions with its shadowy urban aesthetic, femme fatale, or femme fatale. I don't know how to say this. I think it's femme fatale. Femme fatale characters and focus on revenge compulsion. Park Chan-wook hones and heightens noir elements to new extremes. The film also draws on influences from Hitchcock and Asian horror cinema from its convoluted, psychologically driven plot, but Park infused these inspirations into an idiosyncratic, vulgar, and shocking, deeply Korean vision that carved out a new niche. Oh, that was a fucking long sentence. The spectacular box office and critical success of Oldboy amplified Korean cinema's emergence onto the global stage in the early 2000s after decades of obscurity. It pioneered the new Korean blockbuster formula of blending genre thrills with visual artistry and socio-cultural commentary. I can't speak. I've been doing this script for a very long time. Along with other Korean films like The Host, The Chaser, and The Man from Nowhere, Oldboy's fresh remake of genre cinema led the Korean new wave in Asian pop culture exports. It shattered assumptions about Korea as merely a producer of melodramas and comedies. The Korean revenge thriller irrevocably impacted directors like Quentin Tarantino and Spike Lee. Yet most Hollywood remakes failed to capture Oldboy's potency. Spike Lee's 2013 adaptation received especially negative reviews that criticized its dollar impact. The muddled reception shows the difficulty of translating Park Chan-wook's idiosyncrasy and cultural-specific vision. The original Oldboy remains the definitive version emblematic of Korean cinema's creative renaissance in the 2000s. It continues to rank highly on critics' surveys of top Korean films. For all its pulpy B-movie premise about imprisonment and revenge, Oldboy delivers profound insights into human suffering, violence, and morality. It reveals darkness and depravity seething under society's surface when order and compassion disintegrate. The elaborate vengeance plot functions as cruel poetic justice about the costs of unethical behaviour. Park Chan-wook fashions a twisted parable warning against the poisonous consequences of repressed pain and isolation. The world may ignore or exacerbate individual suffering, but the resulting demons cannot remain caged forever. Laugh and the world laughs with you. Cry, or weep. No, wait, the quote is, laugh and the world laughs with you. Weep and you weep alone. That's a quote from this movie. And I think it's a quote from a very famous Korean poem. Don't quote me on that, but I think while researching this video, I found that out. Yet the film retains more ambiguity than easy judgments. Sympathy extends both to the anguished avenger Dae-soo and his calculating tormentor Woo-jin, united by their traumas. Audiences are compelled to reflect on their own capacity for cruelty and compassion. Park suggests that inherent human savagery requires ethical structures and principles to contain it. Once those ethical constraints disappear from society, we all risk becoming prisoners of our own worst instincts. Oldboy also conveys profoundly on the nature of identity, free will, and redemption. Dae-soo's identity becomes wholly contingent on forces outside his control. Through seeking meaning through his revenge quest, he tragically never escapes others' machinations that erase his sense of selfhood, nor can Woo-jin find inner peace from his elaborate plotting. Park implies that we cannot find concrete truth or justice in a vacuum, only further alienation. The film's acted violence feels rather painful rather than cathartic, undermining any idea that vengeance satisfies. Inner freedom ultimately requires accepting powerlessness and practicing compassion over resentment. For its sophisticated thematic undertones and breathless, intense style, Oldboy has rightly earned its status as an instant cult classic and stellar achievement in Korean cinema. It announced Park Chan-wook as an ingenious formalist and risk-taking artist. The film's layered exploration of moral corruption and damaged humanity will haunt and challenge audiences for decades to come. Dark, demented and devastating, Oldboy stripped the revenge thriller to its rawest nerve and found uncomfortable truths in the darkness. Thank you so much for watching all of this video. This took me about a month to research. It took me a long ass time, so I would really appreciate if you can like and comment and subscribe. Mostly subscribe. I don't even care if you like or comment, just please subscribe. I put so much effort into my videos. And it is currently 3 in the morning. I have been doing this voiceover for a very long time. I need to finish editing this. I need to then upload it, and then I need to eat some toast, and then I need to go to bed. Alright, see ya.